Salute to all the diehards. This is Diehard Giants Live. And I'm your man. I am Jarrell on IG and Twitter. Today we're going to talk about the keys to the game for the 49ers game that we have on Thursday. It's a short week for us. Um, we survived Arizona by the skin of our teeth after having a terrible first half. But the second half, though, yeah, we was cooking with gas. So let's get into it. First, let's give it up for our man Daniel Jones. Daniel Jones, man, I had to give a player spotlight. Daniel Jones has such of a monster game. He was the first player in NFL history with the second half with these stats, man, like 250 plus yards passing, 150 plus yards rushing, two touchdown passes, one rushing touchdown, and zero turnovers. Like Daniel Jones was the man during the second half, man. It was a completely different team. I don't know what Brian Daboll said to them at halftime. A lot of people thought that Brian Daboll actually started calling plays for Mike Kafka. That remains to be seen. He kind of denied it in the press conference after the game, but whatever happened during that second half, it needs to keep happening because we actually looked terrible in the first 6 quarters of the season. So, like after halftime, we looked like a completely different team on offense and defense. But now we're on to the 49ers, man. Like the 49ers, a very, very tough team. They're undefeated so far this season. They're 2-0. We're 1-1, obviously. It's going to be a slugfest. The 49ers are a very, very tough team, one of the best teams, not only in the NFC, but the entire league. They're one of the teams that actually slated to go to the Super Bowl between them, the Eagles, and the Cowboys to represent the NFC. And on Thursday, to be honest, we're here to, ruin their party. It's going to be a home game for them. We didn't travel back to the East Coast after the Cardinals game. We stayed in Arizona, and then I think today on Wednesday, when this video is dropping, they went to San Fran, and we take them on tomorrow night on Thursday on Thursday Night Football. So yeah, it's going to be a tough game, man. They have a they have a lot of players, a lot of good players, and we'll get into that. But first off, let's get into the injury report, man. Like we're gonna be missing 4 starters. Three of them is going to be on offense. Andrew Thomas and Saquon Barkley are the two key members that we're not going to have. Saquon Barkley got hurt on the last play from scrimmage for the offense during the last game before we kicked the field goal to win the game. Very, very unfortunate. Another freak injury, wasn't his fault. Andrew Thomas, hamstring, going to miss his second game in a row. He's our all-world tackle. And to be honest, like going against Nick Bosa, we definitely needed him against the 49ers for this game. But, it is what it is. Hopefully he can be healthy going forward. And we just have to deal with it, man. Like next man up. Joshua Zulu actually didn't do that bad in his place, especially coming from a guard moving to the tackle position and a left tackle at that. Joshua Zulu actually played pretty well, so I don't really have any complaints with him. Ben Bredesen, who was our starting left guard. He had a concussion during the game, so through concussion protocols, he's definitely was going to miss this game. So I'm not surprised by that. Azeez Ojulari, hey man, like he obviously has been injury prone since he's been with the Giants, and this is his second game that he's going to lose due to the hamstring. So, that's one pass rusher that they do not have to deal with. We'll talk about that when we talk about the keys to the game on defense from our end. Questionable is Michael McFadden, who's our second starting middle linebacker. And Wan'Dale Robinson, he hasn't played yet this season, but, they didn't put him on the injury report. And usually if you do put him on the injury report, they're going to miss the first 4 games of the season. It kind of looks like Wan'Dale Robinson is going to miss the first 4 games of the season anyway. So, hopefully he'll come back from the ACL injury that he got last year. And hopefully we'll get him back soon. So let's get on to the offense. Daniel Jones, you saw the second half stats, but these are the complete stats for the whole game. He was 26 of 37 for 321 yards and two touchdowns, one rushing touchdown, like I said before. Daniel Jones had a pretty good game, second, especially in the second half. Obviously, he was the first person in NFL history to put up those numbers. So I think the play call, like as far as Daniel Jones would go, is the play calling. Like it obviously it was some type of light switch hit. I don't know what changed. Like I said before, Brian Dable denied the fact that he was calling plays for Mike Kafka. But it is what it is. Regardless of what they did or regardless of what happened, who's calling plays, we needed to continue. Jalen Hyatt and Darren Waller. I mean, you see the numbers: two receptions for almost 100 yards for Jalen Hyatt. He finally got loose. We have to keep. We have to definitely keep doing that. Keep pressing downfield. Darren Waller the same way. He's a security blanket for Daniel Jones. But Jalen Hyatt, man, like he takes the top off the defense. Like he has to stay on the field. I believe I don't even think he played that many snaps last game. I think it was under 20 snaps. But out of those, like 15 to 20 snaps, like he obviously was a major factor. Like you have to respect that speed, regardless of what type of defense you're in. Um, yeah, without having Saquon Barkley, the key to us winning the game on offense, we still have to run the ball. But I don't think it's going to be Saquon Barkley. I actually think that Daniel Jones is going to have to do a lot more running. Um, we're going to start Matt Breida. Eric Gray will probably back him up as our second back. And we still have Gary Brightwell for emergency back, and he's on special teams. So that's going to be our running back room for the next game without Saquon Barkley. He will be missed. He's probably our best player on offense. But we're just gonna have to deal with it, man. We're gonna have to try to win this game without him. But Jalen Hyatt and Darren Waller are definitely the keys to our offense going forward when Saquon Barkley is out. Like those short passes with Darren Waller is going to save Daniel Jones a lot of hits. Like he needs to get the ball out of his hand quickly because our offensive line obviously isn't the best in the world. So Jalen Hyatt is kind of different because he actually needs time to get the ball to Jalen Hyatt downfield. So that's why we do have to keep the defense honest. We have to keep running the ball, even though we don't have Saquon Barkley. So I expect Matt Breida to get the bulk load of the carries, maybe about 20 carries a game. Daniel Jones, I expect him to have like design quarterback runs, not just him scrambling. He's going to do a lot of scrambling, obviously, because that's what he does. He escapes the pocket and he actually has the athleticism to do that. But I actually think they're going to have a lot more design runs this week because, like, we don't have Saquon Barkley. I don't see how we're going to generate offense without Saquon Barkley and Daniel Jones not running the ball. Because San Francisco's defense, and we're going to talk about their key players, they have some monsters on that side of the ball. So that's what we have to do in order to even stay into the game on Thursday with them. On defense, my two safeties and our middle linebacker are definitely going to be the keys to the game. As you can see, Pinnock and McKinney, they combined for 20 tackles. That's a lot for two safeties. Bobby Okereke, he had a pretty terrible first half, but everybody had a bad first half against Arizona. The second half, he looked like a monster. He was flying all over the place. So most of his 8 tackles came in that second half. Um, like I said, we're not going to have Azeez Ojulari for the second game of the season, but Kayvon, we still have Kayvon Thibodeau, and I know. Kayvon Thibodeau has not produced like we would like a top 5 draft pick to produce, but I don't know. The talent is still there, man. I think it's way too early to call this man a bust. I think he still has a lot of plays in him to prove to us, the fan base, and the organization that he was the right man and the right pick at 5 last year in the draft. And, don't get me wrong. It's not like I'm not worried about our pass rush because it seemed kind of non-existent in the first 2 games. But sometimes it takes time, man. Like defense, sometimes it takes time to gel. Wink Martindale just got a new piece in the form of Isaiah Simmons. We really haven't used him in anything. We haven't I don't know. We haven't used him in pass rush situations that a lot, and we haven't even had him covering tight ends that much. So I'm kind of interested in see where Isaiah Simmons fit for this team. But we have to get pressure on the quarterback somehow. Like sooner or later, Wink Martindale is definitely going to call up those blitzes. Like last year, we was one of the most blitzing teams in the NFL. This past couple of games, like we didn't definitely did not blitz as much as we usually do. So we'll see how that goes. Those are like the two keys of the game on offense and defense for us. I'll get into San Fran for a bit, but I don't know. I'm trying to think of some unsung heroes that can actually do well for us on defense. I mean, Dexter Lawrence is Dexter Lawrence, so I kind of know that what he's gonna bring to the table. We definitely need Leo Williams to step up, man. I didn't put him in one of these um, key players of the game, but he definitely is one for us. Um, a lot of the talk is about Kayvon Thibodeau not producing. That's just because he was an early draft pick last year. But the person who makes the most money on that defense, other than Dexter Lawrence, is our other defensive tackle, Leonard Williams. So we need some pass rush out of him too. Like he's a pass rushing defensive end that can actually get to the quarterback, and he has to do better as well. So yeah, those are the keys to the game for us on our side. So let's get to San Fran. San Fran is one of those teams that definitely not scared to play him, but it's definitely going to be tough. Like San Fran, out of the 22 starters that they have on offense and defense, I believe almost half of them, like 11 or 12 of them, have either been an all pro or a pro bowler in their career. So on offense and defense, they have stars in almost every position, um, even down to the offensive line, with Trent Williams being one of the best offensive tackles in the league. Brock Purdy, former seventh round pick from last year, he's the epitome of a game manager. But don't get it twisted though. Saying that he's a game manager, I'm not saying that he can't win games. But Brock Purdy is the type of quarterback that won't lose the game for them. And that's the key for them. And that's why they really wanted him back, um, opposed to Jimmy G or Trey Lance, who they just got rid of in the preseason, traded to Dallas. Brock Purdy is one of those quarterbacks who don't make a lot of mistakes. He's not going to be the type of person that actually win the game a lot for you. I don't expect a lot of explosive plays in the passing game from him, like going downfield. But he is one of those quarterbacks, like I said, that rarely makes a mistake. So turnovers will be key for us. San Francisco has a very stout defense. So in order for us to stay in this game, we have to not turn the ball over and try to turn the ball over on their end. Like hopefully we can get a pick on Brock Purdy, or script the ball, dive on it, get on the ground. We just got to play tough, man. Christian McCaffrey is pretty much a nightmare coming out of the backfield. Um, some will call him the best running back in the league. He definitely has an argument for that. And even catching passes out of the backfield. No linebacker in the league should be guarding or trying to check Christian McCaffrey coming out of the backfield, man. He's just going to run past him. Um, Hopefully, Xavier McKinney and Jeremy Pinnock, like I mentioned with the safeties earlier, they're probably key in on him. I expect us to at least keep one of them in the box at all times. Even when he goes out for a pass, I would hope that they don't have Bobby McCarrick trying to check Christian McCaffrey coming out of the backfield. Like, hopefully they put a safety on him. Debo Samuel, Mr. Everything. Everybody knows who Debo Samuel is. One of the best wide receivers in the league. And he also will run the ball also. I think the last game that they had against the Rams, he had like 4 or 5 carries. So they have a lot of good pieces on offense, man. I couldn't even put everybody on the screen that's good when it comes to the key players, because I didn't even mention Brandon Ayuk and George Kittle, who is two very good weapons for Brock Purdy to pass to. Like, they're two of the best in the league at their respective positions as well. So it's going to be tough guarding their offense, especially their run game. We have trouble against the run, obviously. James Conner ran all over us last week. He had over 100 yards. Christian McCaffrey is light years better than James Conner. So, and they have a better offensive line than the Cardinals do. So we got to bring our A game on defense in order to stop these guys. Now on defense is where San Francisco really kind of gets scary, man. Their defense, they have one of the deepest defensive lines in the league. Nick Bosa, he doesn't have any sacks left. I mean, he doesn't have any sacks this year, I should say. It's only been 2 games, but he's almost due for one. Us not having Thomas it's kind of scary for us not to have our starting left tackle and Nick Bosa's coming. So we'll see how we'll deal with that. I'm pretty sure Brian Dable knows that. The whole offense knows that, and they're gonna have to game plan around getting through Nick Bosa, especially if they want to actually throw deep passes. It's gonna have to be a lot, and I mean a lot of play action. Like we're gonna have to establish the run and get the play action game going, or we're not going to be able to pass the ball. It's going to kind of look like the Dallas game all over again, and we all know we do not want that. Fred Warner, all-world middle linebacker, might be the best middle linebacker in the league. There's not much to say about him, man. Like he's all over the place. He's going to be guarding Darren Waller a lot. He's going to be guarding the backs in our backfield a lot. He might be shadowing Daniel Jones a lot too, because they know, like everybody knows Daniel Jones is a mobile quarterback. So we're going to have design runs for him, and I expect them to shadow him with Fred Warner. Like he's a very good coverage linebacker, and he'll hit you on the run too. So, like I said, like their whole defense is kind of scary, man. Like I was looking at their last game. They definitely have one of the deepest defensive lines in the league. Like it has to be between them, the Eagles, and the Cowboys. Like I don't see a defensive line that could even be close to them. It's just those three, and everybody else. It's like a huge gap. Ward, another Pro Bowl safety. You see he had 10 tackles last game against the Rams. It's going to be tough sledding, man. Like these players, like I said, most of them are Pro Bowlers or All Pros, but they still can be beat. I don't expect San Fran to go undefeated. We just got to play our game, man. So that's pretty much the keys of the game and the key contributors that's going to be on the field on Thursday. I'm obviously not predicting a win, but I'm never going to say that we're just definitely going to lose. It's just going to be a hard game, man. And, Diehard Giants will be here halftime during the game, rain or shine, no matter what the score is. Last game, I came in with we was down 20-0 during halftime. We had a show. The Dallas game, I think we was down 26-0. We had a show. So win or losing, I'm going to show up at halftime, and we go kick it, man. Salute to Eru and Steph that was on the show with me last week. We had a good time. Salute to everybody in the chat. Like and subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you on game day. Peace.